Nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause on all 3 pages of this disclaimer and read it.
All right, this is Nick Pietrzello. It's Wednesday, February the 25th at just after 6 p.m. EST, about 6:10. I got AJ and CG here, and this is the Ask Me Anything crypto markets and trading Zoom call. So I've always got stuff to talk about, but I always encourage people to come in here and ask questions, whether they're brand new to trading or have never even traded at all, or they want to know about crypto or the stock market or the bond market. Now, I do have a level of specialty in technical trading. And so what I do is I use data that's on the screen to tell me where price is going to go and when it's going to get there. And I'm right a certain percentage of the time. And I break it down with like data science. And, this isn't like I just kind of guess. I literally know that I'm going to be right about 64% of the time. And I know that when I win, I'm going to win, maybe 28% bigger than when I lose. And so over time, that adds up to profit. So it's not exciting to do that. It's actually a lot of work, but it's like I gave you $1,000 and you're able to bet $20 at a time at a slot machine. And I tell you that slot machine wins 58% of the time. What are you going to do? Either you guys feel free to answer that.
I mean, just keep betting, right? The odds are in your favor.
That's it. If you can get to a slot machine, and even if it's just double or nothing, 50-50, right? And you either double your money or you lose your bet. If you can win even 53% of the time, 52% of the time, that's profitable. You bet $20 at a time. That way, you're not just taking all your money down and you just, every 100 times you bet, you're going to win 53. That money just stacks up. So that's kind of what we do. I teach people how to set the slot machine in their favor, and it's not glamorous and it's work, and it's never going to make you like a bazillionaire. It can make you a bazillionaire, but those cases are pretty rare. Usually it's because you're already starting with a lot of money. And by that point, you probably already have other games going, but that's what I do. I teach people how to do that. And that's my specialty. I started making money in the crypto markets where I got my start. Really, I got it in the precious metals market back in 2011. It's when I made my first big wins. Although I didn't have a lot of money to play with back then, I was still kind of making my bones out. But that's when I got the bug. And then when I left that for a little while and I went on the corporate route. And then in 2016, started getting back into cryptocurrency, and I bought in 2017. And I actually taught myself how to trade. And at that point, all you really had to do was have a pulse and go long, right? It was really easy to make money in crypto back in those days. And there was a lot of right place, right time, but it afforded me the ability to understand what technical trading is and how the odds can be in your favor. And that's when I kind of moved over to forex back in 2019, trading foreign exchange, which is dollars versus yen and British pounds versus the dollar and such. And that's pretty much where I'm at today. I do that. I teach people how to do that. I do have an understanding of the stock market, the bond market. It's not my area of expertise, but I can certainly predict which way charts are going to go. And, that's that. So does either of you guys have any questions that you want to come with? And AJ, you were here first.
Yeah, I have a random list of questions, honestly, because I've been studying this for the last, I want to say month and a half, and I'm finally up to paper trading and I'm having some success with it. I just kind of have a random list of questions. I don't know. How do you want to go about that?
Yeah, sure. Let's go with the random list. What did you say though? I'm sorry. I got a little distracted. What did you say before you had a random list of questions? Apologies for that.
No, that I've been studying trading, or day trading in particular, for the last month and a half.
Okay.
Just kind of going through some course material that I've purchased.
Mm-hmm. I teach that, right?
Yeah, I know.
I got a lot of free stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I could look into that for sure.
I got a ton of free stuff. Like I can just send you links and stuff once the show is up.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I appreciate that.
So yeah, let's have one of your random questions.
Okay. Let me see. A whole list over here. It's just a few, but so I'm using TradingView for paper trading at the moment.
Okay.
I was wondering, so does TradingView not have an option for you to do an OCO order so that I don't have to sit and watch the chart?
It does. Yeah, for paper trading.
Yeah, I mean, for paper trading now, but eventually when I get a prop firm, okay, I can do that.
It does. For OCO though, you would have to, okay, so TradingView has the opportunity to API into your exchange, right? So you got to get into your trading panel. I can show it to you.
Okay.
You should be able to see the TradingView screen right now. I don't know why I cannot see. They moved the trading panel. Give me just a second to find it. Looks like they moved a few things around. Where's the trading panel?
It pop up when you hit the trade button, no?
Yeah, it is, but let's see what happens if I do that.
Wow.
because I haven't used TradingView's API in a long time, but you should be able to API into your exchange directly, but that's like if you're self-funded. Okay, so that's what you said is the easiest way. If you click on the buy or sell on the top left, you're able to see the screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it's got like paper trading here, which is right there where you can have OCO, which means, for those of you who might be new, OCO means that you can like enter a trade, you can set it to automatically enter your trade, and you can set it with conditions to exit. So if it goes against you, you can set it to exit the trade before it does too much damage, and you can set it to exit the trade once it gets up to your desired profit point, right? So you don't have, it's all, in a sense, it's automated. Now at that point, you're still manually executing the trade. You still have to set it up to do all those things, right? Like, hey, enter here, exit in these two areas, but it will do those things for you once you've set it up. So it's not exactly bot trading, it's just OCO. Now you see here like paper trading, forex, Oanda, OKX. These are all of the exchanges that are available. Which prop firms are you looking at?
Oh, TraderVate at the moment.
What is it called?
TraderVate?
TraderVite. Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Or TraderVite, that I'm pronouncing. It was right there on the screen.
Was it?
Yeah, there it is. In the middle.
Let's see. Oh, TraderVate.
Yep.
This is a prop firm, huh?
Yes, sir.
Interesting. All right. Well.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait. So it's Apex. No, so it's Apex technically, and then but you have to sign into TraderVate to link it. It's linked through TraderVate.
Okay, yeah, we got a guy in the 1% who he uses Apex. He's pretty happy with it. So yeah, interesting. That's good to know. I've never done prop firm. I've always been self-funded. But I do have some of the guys that are some of my clients who would be interested to see this. So I'm glad that you have pointed that out. But yeah, right there, TraderVate. So all you have to do is just connect to TraderVate, and then you'll sign in as if you're signing into TraderVate, and then you can OCO right here on TradingView.
Oh, okay. So maybe it's just not available while I'm paper trading right now. Is that? Yeah.
It should be. It should be available while you paper trade. I don't know why it wouldn't be. We can test it out. Let's go to USDJPY. I did not take this trade. That was just a trade idea. I was waiting for the algos for the okay on that. So we will keep an eye on this. But it looks like, this is probably going to turn around any minute here. All right, let's go to a chart I'm not messing with. And let's go to paper trading. Next. All right, so let's say that I want to buy. I go to market. Now, let's just do like, I don't know, $1,000, right? Whatever. These units, you know how it is. So I'll just do 1,000 units, whatever the hell that means. And then I will see you can toggle on your exits. So this is a market order. So it's just going to enter right where it is. So let's just say I want to go long, and I think it's going to go straight up from here. So I'm going to copy this price right here and type it, or what do you call it? Going to copy. Well, that's my, okay, that's a take profit order. So we'll say that that's going to be up here somewhere. Now this is doing it this way. There's two ways to do this. And then you choose your stop loss. We'll just put it down here somewhere, just, paste. Then you buy, right? And you be in the trade and it'll be OCO.
But no, when you have to buy a sell stop.
Say again. Oh, you want to do a sell stop, like price goes down and you want to go short once it passes that level?
Yeah, I want to like buy a long and a short, and then do we have the same definition of OCO? Like one cancels the other?
Yeah, OCO should just be where you have a stop loss and a take profit, and once one of those gets hit, then that other order is canceled. Are you talking about a bracket?
Oh, maybe where I buy a short and a long, and then one cancels when one of them hits. When one of them enters a trade, the other one cancels. That's what I'm
trying to have a bracket.
Oh, that's called a bracket order.
Yeah, that's a bracket order. I don't know that you can automate a bracket order. You probably could automate a bracket order, but that's probably going to involve some code.
Oh, like writing your own scripts and shit.
Yeah, it's not that hard. Give me 1 second. So for the audience's information, I'm running like a fever, probably over 100 right now, so might get some coughing. So let me get out of this. Let me just ask the AI if that can be done. Can a bracket, or is that a straddle? Might be a straddle.
I don't know why I didn't think to do that myself. Instead of trying to search YouTube video.
Trading view ? Like I guarantee you can probably do it with like webhooks and stuff, or with code. It says both bracket and straddle can be automated on TradingView, though the method differs depending on whether you're using a broker integration or a fully automated Pine script strategy. So automating bracket orders via the trading panel. When you open a trade manually, you click, which is what we just did. You click TPSL boxes. TradingView will automatically send all three orders to your broker if position size. Okay, so a bracket order I thought was a little different too, but we should be talking about order, cancel, order.
Yes.
So a straddle though, okay, so buying and selling both a call and a put, putting a buy stop and a sell stop. That's a straddle. For options, for futures, you can automate a breakout straddle using PineScript by placing 2 stop entry orders at the same time. Yeah, that makes sense because look, you'll have to test it out with your broker. Some brokers will, most brokers will not allow you, especially in the US, to have like to hedge. So to go long and the short at the same time, to have live trades long and short, right? That's generally not allowed in the US from what I've been told. So if you're like long and then you want to add a short on to hedge, so you just kind of lock your price in, it's just going to cancel the long.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's generally how it is in the US. Now, I've seen other like, brokers outside of the system, outside of the US that will allow you to do that. It's hedging. But for a straddle, it almost doesn't matter. I mean, for a pure straddle, because what you're doing with a straddle is you're going to have like, this is a dirty chart. Let's find something clean. Dirty chart. Doing all this stuff here. All right. Yeah, looks like that one's correct. Just find a chart I'm not playing with. Okay. So let's say for this chart, big move up on Uniswap. Damn, what the hell? Crypto moving out of nowhere. That's weird. All right. So I've been like that. Okay. So look, it looks like Uniswap pumps and dumps every so often. It looks like somebody needs to get out the market and, they're pumping and dumping. So here's the thing. Like, let's just say you got a buy stop right there and a sell stop down here, right? So you'll have like, and these are both effectively breakout trades. So your straddle is if price goes like down here, you sell stop and then you're in a short, right? If price goes up here, you buy stop and you're in your long. So your trades are going to either look like this where you're long, or it's going to look like this if you're short. I mean, as far as I know, the only limitation on doing that's going to be with your broker, where you should be able to put on a buy stop and a sell stop at the same time, right? So I could literally just go like this, create a limit order, stop. We'll just leave the exits where they are. I will make that. So this is a buy stop, and I'll create a limit order here, stop, sell, and that's a sell stop. You now have a straddle. And because I use these long and short position boxes, it's just automated. You see all these like data right here, buy stop, this, take profit. These are stop losses. There's your take profit down here, your sell stop. That's all, it's all done for you right there. And whichever way it goes is whichever way it's going to go.
Oh, okay.
Right. So now the thing about straddles is that you have like, why are you playing with straddles? If you're a new day trader, that's not really a new day trader thing to do. That's kind of an advanced thing to do. So as somebody who's never day traded before, who gave you the idea to play with straddles? Because you kind of playing with fire.
Right. No, that's my idea because I have access to these codes where you set up trades, but they're kind of, I guess, US Eastern time based, and that's a little late here in Thailand. So I'm just trying to avoid staying up late to cancel one of the other orders when they.
Yeah, well, that's the thing though, is what I'm not aware of. What you can do with that, like if you want to cancel an order, you can just have a time limit on the order. That's a way to do it from a time limit standpoint. So you can say like, hey, if either they have to be hit within 3 hours, and then either both will cancel or the one that doesn't get hit will cancel. I don't know. I mean, according to this, you can automate the breakout straddle because here's the PineScript for it. Just put it right here. But I see here. Okay, webhook. There are also you can enable webhooks and do it through webhooks. But what I don't know is can a straddle be automated? What's this thing called? TradingView, where one of the two orders will be canceled when the other is hit? Question mark. I guarantee the answers could probably be yes, but you probably have to do it through webhooks. Webhooks is it's like a third party service. Okay, OCO, dude. That's what it's called. One cancels other. Yeah, so that is an OCO. So you had the terminology correct. In a straddle, you're placing two opposing entry orders, buy stop, sell stop. The goal is for one to cancel the other once you're in the trade. So you got it right. The manual semi-auto way, broker integration. So if you're connected, you can use the order ticket to link the orders. You can right-click, create the new order. The problem, most standard broker tickets on TradingView are designed for brackets. So that's the brackets is what I was talking about. Like, it's just your standard trade, apparently, according to this. So I'm the one with the that had the terminology wrong on that. The solution using the DOM link depth of market trading panel. Some brokers allow you to group orders into an OCO manually. If your broker doesn't support entry OCO, you'll have to use an automated method below. There's a fully automated PineScript strategy. So I mean, I've got the code right here. Like you're essentially going to have to automate it. I don't know if you've ever worked with like PineScript or how to work. Yeah. Okay. It's actually not that hard. It's one of those things where you just got to give it a shot and it's going to start to make sense after a while. And if you just go to like any AI you can just ask it, hey, I want to do an OCO straddle and on TradingView with this broker, and it's going to tell you what you got to do. You're just going to have to follow those directions. But it literally, like, I'll switch the screen over so you can see. Let's see here. I have this panel shared. Are you able to see like the Gemini stuff right now?
Yeah.
Okay, well, here it is. This is the Pine script right here. Like, it just gives you the code. You just copy that and you put it into the, apparently you just put it into the compiler, which is going to be down in this area for, you got to actually get into like the indicators and stuff. So I used to do this stuff a lot. It's been a minute since I've done it, but it'll walk you right through it, how to do it.
Yeah, I can YouTube. I can search that. No worries there.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Very good. All right, well, mystery solved. Let me exit the paper trading, log out. All right. Well, CG, you got any questions, bud?
I don't know if it's questions, but more of like a topic to discuss.
Okay,
So one of the things I look at, for like retirement kind of stuff, so a lot of that kind of thing shows up in my feed, and they always talk about a balanced portfolio being like 60-40, but that just seems too safe, man.
Not
like to have yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it just seems like that's too careful. Like 40% in like bonds, like, just what do you think is a better split?
I mean, so you got 60-40, and it all depends on your time horizon, and it all depends on your theory of the way things are going to go. I mean, 60-40 is conservative, so it's just now, first of all, provided that the economy doesn't go over, like, undergo any major changes between now and 20, 30, 40 years when you retire, 60-40 is going to basically like possibly keep your money alive. I personally think we're going to see a fair amount of inflation. So,
agree.
So that, you'll do better in stocks.
Because right now, man, I'm like full send. Like, my risk tolerance is probably a little bit higher than most people. Like, I'm like 95.5. Fucking sending it, right?
Yeah, I mean, personally, if it were me, I would just dollar cost average into precious metals and leave bonds behind. But I'm crazy like that. But if you're somebody who's just going to do kind of a standard, safe type of thing, then you have to look at like, okay, do you have kids? Do you have life insurance? Do you have a whole life policy? Do you have there's an entire picture when it comes to financial planning that goes beyond your bonds. Do you have real estate? Do you hold precious metals? How much of your portfolio does that need to be, right? But if I were strictly talking about where I'm going to put my dollars in when it comes to bonds versus stocks, I'm somebody who does think we're going to see a fair amount of inflation. So I probably would just go with it would be stronger, maybe 80-20 or 90-10. I don't play in the stock market. I'm just going to pay I'm going to trust myself on that rather than, some broker, some schmuck, to just throw my money in the SP 500 and then I got to pay him some percentage just to do what I can do. But that said, I mean, I'm not a licensed professional to tell you, like, I don't even know what your financial picture looks like. I don't know enough to actually answer your question or give you advice, even if I had a license. But for the more risk tolerant you are, the more you can cram into, stocks or anything that's going to be more volatile than bonds, right? Bonds are just like, they're kind of a way to ostensibly like freeze your money where it is. But personally, I think a better way to freeze your money where it is to put it in precious metals. That's just my own thought.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I was asking for, Nick, is like kind of what your take and what perspective, which is, a lot of my stuff in my feed is finance and retirement related, because it's on my, purview or whatever, because I've got a 10 to 15 year time horizon. And I'm just like, yo, man, like, I'm trying to like do something else besides, go to work. Right.
Yeah. I mean, look, here's the thing about it. 10 to 15 years is not a long time when it comes to trying to build a nest egg. So the strongest investments I have ever seen have been in a business, because you can not only put your money to work, but you actually physically with sweat equity can, do things to make it happen. Right. So a successful business, it's also risky, but a successful business can, now there's plug and play businesses. There's all kinds, dude, there's like a million ways to make money. You would like to see our shows by this guy named John Singleton on our channel. He comes on. Sometimes it's a few times a month, and then you won't see him for a couple months. This guy's like got 9,000 ways to make money. He's just a smart dude. He's like kind of a genius. So you have plug and play stuff. Like, I would just start. I mean, of course, take some money, put it aside. If it were me, like, and I could start over right now, right? What would I do with my money? I would put and with my skill set, right? Well, yeah, I probably have a good, I'd have, because at my age at 46, let's just say said, okay, you're going to get like, $10,000 a month, right? You have a $4,000 mortgage. So, you have your health insurance and everything else. By the end of it, you're going to have like, $3,000 left. And so like, okay, I got $3,000 a month. What are you going to do with that? Well, what I would do with that is I would I'd have it like at least a $10,000 trading account. So that might take a few months to build up. And then I would also make sure I had some kind of savings, and that's all kind of like, let's just pretend you have the savings already to keep the formula simple. I would start putting like half the money into precious metals. The other half might go towards like more precious metals. That's how I roll, because honestly, like, sure, it might go to some other things, but I'm not really into investing in anything besides like precious metals. The stock market's not real. Now, sure, you can take your money out of it. You can make your money. Don't get me wrong. Like, the money that you pull out of the stock market is real, but it's a big paper game. Go talk to a broker or anybody who's really big on stocks and say, oh, do you have your stock certificate? They're going to look at you like you got a dick growing right here. You can be like, because I'm telling you right now, people don't have any idea, like, stocks aren't owned by anybody. They're already hypothecated. If something happened and like the system shut down and everybody just had to liquidate to get their stocks, people be empty handed. You just have the same stock that's rehypothecated who knows how many times. And it's all through the derivative system. Our entire system is based on debt. Our money is made of debt. All the money that goes into the stock market, it's all debt. The only difference is that you got the 401k people mindlessly pumping money into the market every month. Well, that money that they're pumping in there is made of debt. Every dollar that we use comes from debt. We've monetized the debt to create dollars. And so what they're doing is they're literally like, okay, so what is a bond? Well, in the old days, a bond was slavery. If you had your wrist bonded up, you were a slave. Well, what's a bond now? It is your children's labor. So a 20 and 30-year bond from the Treasury is based on tax collection and other labor coming from the next generation of kids. So your children are bound in that bond to eventually pay taxes and work towards paying off that bond in 20 or 30 years, whenever that comes to maturity and someone's got to, come get their money, right? That's what a bond is. It's fine. It is what it is. So how is money created? Well, now this is where I sort of forget the process, but effectively the Treasury creates those bonds, and then they use that, I think, to collateralize the Federal Reserve. And then the Federal Reserve prints money that's effectively borrowed. And then they give that money, let's just say it's $100 million, to the commercial banks. Those commercial banks have no reserve requirements. So they can literally turn that 100 million into tens of billions, and they can lend it out. You can lend it out to all kinds of other banks. And those other banks can turn those tens of millions into hundreds of millions, because they will lend it out to you and me. And when you lend out, it's called double entry bookkeeping. That $100 million exists in the commercial banks as a $100 million deposit. But when they lend out $10 billion in total to all these different businesses and asset managers and everywhere else, that's now a liability to them. Those tens of billions of dollars are liabilities. But a liability on the balance sheet is somebody else's asset, right? Because now that somebody's indebted to you, they have to pay you back. And therefore, you're now a creditor, or you're now a debtor, or no, you're a creditor to those debtors. Therefore, that debt is an asset. So you have a $100 million deposit at your commercial bank, and you have $10 billion obligation from all these people who you lent out to, and they got to pay you back. And that's also considered an asset, even though it's a liability. So they flipped everything on its head. This is why some cultures don't borrow or lend. Like, the Arabs, they in their religion, it's baked into where you can't lend or borrow. You can't do usury. Well, it's actually in the Christian Bible too. And in my opinion, I'm not a religious guy. So in my opinion, those things are like, they're baked into the religion because they know it's bad for society. And every so often, you're going to see certain groups of people get booted who do a lot of borrowing and lending, right? So I don't want to go down that path with you right here and now, but what I will say is that our entire money system is debt. And what do you pay debt down with? You pay it down with dollars, right? Well, where do those dollars come from? More debt. So now you got to borrow at 3% to pay down what's already at 3%, right? So now you're adding 3% to 3%. And then you got to borrow at 4% to pay down what was at 3%, what's already paying down to 3%. And before you know it, the money just disappears because you're just borrowing money to pay off debt. You're creating more debt to pay off debt. So if you ask me, it's a math problem. It's just a math problem. And it's a matter of time before the system will collapse under its own weight of debt. And there will be a change, and who knows what that's going to look like. And it might be in 50 years, and it might be in 10, and it might be in 5, and it might be tomorrow. And nobody knows, right? I've been hearing for almost 20 years now, the world's going to fall apart from this debt machine. I'm like, well, it's still going right now, Well, I forget who said it, but might have been Ernest Hemingway or someone, or like some random. And it's like, you know who it is? I think it's Warren Buffett, but bankruptcies happen very slowly and then they happen all at once, right? So what are you going to be left holding when the music stops? You can be holding your stock. Where's your stock certificate? Oh, well, my broker says I have it. Oh, where's your broker? Oh, he's online. Oh, that system's down.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, that system's down. Oh, well, when's it going to be back up? Oh, it's not. That system's broken. It doesn't work anymore. Well, where's my money? Where's my stocks? I don't know. System's down. You got no certificate. You don't own anything. Show me a stock in your hand right now. You can't. There's no such thing. It's all fictional. Well, I'll tell you what's real. Now, real estate's real. Now the money that you generally use to buy real estate is almost always going to be debt, but ultimately there's, a deed, and you and the bank will co-own it, and you occupy the house, and possession is 9/10 of the law. So if you own a home, if things really fall apart, being able to keep your home might be a challenge, but that's just another kind of a math problem. You'll probably lose your real estate unless you own it outright. So if I were to be a real estate person, and I would make sure if I had a lot of debt, I also had a lot of assets to cover that debt in the event of problem. So if I owned 20 homes, I would want at least 20 homes worth of precious metals sitting in my house. And that way, if something happens and my income disappears and I have to pay off those mortgages in order to keep those homes, I have something I can do that with. That's what I would do. Because I like real estate. I'm not big in it. I don't own a whole lot of it. My prepper days, my more crazy, buy a bunch of silver and go live in the wilderness days, which is what I ended up doing, is buying a bunch of silver and living in the wilderness. That my instinct is like, okay, I don't want to own a bunch of homes. Like, I can't pick up my house and take it with me and guard it with a gun. Like, how many ways, can a home just be taken from you by somebody writing, a new contract somewhere? Like, it's not for me. But there's people who are like, I have a low trust in the system. There's people with high trust in the system. And if you think I'm crazy talking like that, well, God bless you. Go buy a house, buy 10 of them, go live it. And I say good luck to you. And you're probably right. I'm talking about a very low probability scenario, but everything I do is probabilities. And what's not a low probability scenario is that our debt-based system will implode. Now it's a question of when. And what they'll probably do, just to make it so I'm not so doom and gloom, I think they're just going to change it over to something that's less debt-based. It'll continue to be debt-based, but there will be probably a write-down on a lot of debt. There will be a lot of unfunded liabilities that probably disappear. There'll be a whole reshuffling in a bankruptcy and like a big giant chapter, whatever, reorganization. And then what I think is going to happen is each country, whatever countries are left, those countries will have a currency, and it will be based probably on production and also commodities production. So it'll be based on like, okay, how much stuff do you make and sell around the world, and how many raw resources are you able to pull out of the ground in your country to sell to the rest of the world? And I think that's what's going to be left over between sovereigns, between governments. And then the whole new situation will be based on that. The debt-based system will essentially break, and it'll probably be fixed inside of a cast of socialism, and then something will come out of it. By then there will probably be robots doing everything, fucking in flying cars. So in my opinion, I think that I like precious metals because I can literally just like hand, makes kind of a cool sound. So right
For
here.
a second there, man, I thought you were gonna fucking pull out a gold bar bullion.
Oh shit. There's other things to invest in. There's art. I have collectibles, not a lot of them. I have just a couple of bangers. I used to collect comics, and I've got some signed ones, and I think that certain things like that will do well. Art, like real art collectors, that's for like rich people. I'm not really into the hardcore. Hey, I've got my Monet. Like, okay, first of all, I got $90 million to buy one. But secondly, that's a bit much, right? I think it's not very practical. But there's guns. I think guns are a great thing to collect because they're always guns. Everybody will always buy them. Even the guns, like for example, they made a law that said you can't have machine guns. Right back in 1986, they kind of slipped in this little change into the national gun law saying you can't have machine guns. Well, fine, but if you have a machine gun that was made before 1986, you can still have it, right? So at that time, you could just buy one up and still have one. The problem is now there's so few of them, you got to pay $70,000 to have one, right? So because there's just supply and demand. So it's going to probably be like that. And if guns are taken away from us somehow, if the system fails or whatever, the guns you have, you'll probably be able to keep. So buying and collecting firearms in this country, in the US, is probably not a bad way to go because you can always sell those. You can always transfer those. So, even if it's to some collector or whatever. So guns and ammo, I think, are a good place to invest money. And of course, if the fucking Mad Max, all that shit happens, which I don't think it will, but if it did, then you have guns and ammo, right? I don't think we're going to see that Mad Max, scenario. I used to, back when I was in a different mindset. But either way, they're a good investment. So yeah, but I'm not, stocks and bonds. Okay, fine. That's fine, and they'll probably be fine, and you'll probably do. I'm going to give it a better than 70% chance that buying your stocks and bonds will pay off one day. Just because they'll have to change the system over in a way to where huge swaths of the population are made whole. Otherwise, you get revolution, and they'll have to make a deal. But it might be like in the 30s when FDR came around and said, okay, give us your gold, and we're going to give you $20 an ounce for it, and we'll keep it safe for you. Keep it safe. Just give it
kind of UBI.
Keep it safe. We'll keep it safe. We're going to keep it safe for you right here in New York.
Yeah, some kind of UBI system, huh?
I think so. I think once there's enough automation, I don't think AI is quite there to take over a ton of jobs, but it's getting there. The advances I've seen in AI in the last, because I use AI, the advances I've seen in the last 2 years are remarkable. And I think it'll be a matter of time where a lot of jobs disappear, white collar first. I mean, they're using AI for as linemen, and you know what a lineman is? They work on the telephone wires, electricity wires is what you see. You don't really see telephone wires anymore, but they have robot linemen in China.
Oh shit. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they have that. They have robot construction. No, it's not literally humanoid robots walking around. It's not like that. It's just a big thing that goes along the wire, does this work and goes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not iRobot, not Will Smith up there, But they have automated for putting panels on buildings. It's completely automated.
Oh, okay.
Glass panels and stuff. They're already there. We've been using robots to build stuff in factories since the 90s. It's just going to become more.
Yeah.
So, I think that we're headed into a scenario where I don't even know what it's going to look like. But, okay, are your stocks going to be the way that they kind of keep things going? Because the big money in the world, they do everything for the markets, right? So I think the markets will I think the markets will continue. And I think that's why they'll find a way to keep the stock market alive, because that's just how they make their money.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, these are all very far-fetched and way out there stuff. I mean, if the world remains normal and stocks and bonds don't go anywhere, then yeah, I don't know, if you're aggressive, go 80-20, 90-10, if that's all you care about. I'm not interested in either stocks nor bonds.
Yeah. I mean, it's just more been in my feed recently, and I was like, I'm gonna ask Nick since we got that call coming up, and it just seemed like it was just a little bit too conservative. I love how that whole conversation divulged into this whole thing, man. That was great. I love that. And my comment on AI, I think that you need to be able to integrate AI into what you're doing now, right? Because I think having those skills is what is going to matter, not just the fact that AI is here. It's okay, how do you utilize AI so that you show that you're valuable in some way, and also just makes you more efficient, more effective.
You got to leverage all the tools that are made available. AI has been pretty valuable for me. I can definitely vouch and say, yeah, AI has been a net positive for me. I think it'll be a net positive, but the question is on a long enough timeline. When all the jobs are taken, then it's probably gonna be some kind of UBI, and they'll have us take some other shot, and all of this. Oh yeah, people are dying. Oh, it must be it must be because they didn't eat enough bugs. It's gonna be one of those scenarios where I'll just put it this way: the useless eaters, they tend not to last too long, right? And where are we gonna be in 200 years? Where are we gonna be in 100 years? Oh, we'll be dead, but our kids, right? So I don't know. You just got to play whatever game's out there to play, and I think the safest thing to stack up is gold and silver. And I'll tell you this: you can make gold in the laboratory. I don't know if you know that.
Like the diamonds?
Yeah, you can make gold in the laboratory. They've been able to do it for a long time.
Nice.
But the problem is it takes so much energy to do it. It's it's not cost effective. Gold right now is 5,000 an ounce, right? It ends up costing tens of thousands per ounce or more. It's you can make it in a laboratory, but it's so energy intensive that it doesn't make any sense to do it. But yeah, you can make gold in the laboratory, which is doable. Well, there's going to be a time when we have cheap and free energy, right? Someone will figure out fusion or whatever it is. Probably not in our lifetime, but at some point, even gold and silver's not. We're at that point in history and technology where the game that we're playing right now, it's changing so quickly that, in my opinion, you have to extrapolate the timeline out farther than you probably think you do, right? The future is coming way more quickly than it used to come.
Yeah, I agree.
And there's been a lot of people who have talked about how, if you look at the sort of the conspiracy side of things, the PSYOP scraps that are going on, they're apparently like they're ramping up like fast. They're getting crazy with it. And the theory is that whatever change is coming is on its way. And I'm guessing it's a technological change of some kind. And I don't think it's, aliens or whatever. I'm not, that's not me. I'm not the alien guy. Although, a lot of the things that I've talked about and been accused of being crazy about are now just on like Fox News and CNN, so a lot of my years of being a conspiracy theorist and saying, that, oh, silver's going to go above 100. No, you're crazy. Hey, talk to me in 2025. Like, a lot of the stuff that I've been talking about for, 15 years, my whole, ruining Thanksgiving and my family thinks I'm crazy. Like now they don't think I'm so crazy. Right. So, I think I think people's time horizon, the older you are, the more boomer you are, then the less you extrapolate because things have been the same way for 70 years. Right. So you think it's just going to be like that. The younger you are, the more change you have seen in a shorter amount of time because of the exponential nature of technology. So the younger people know how quickly things are changing. I know because of the work that I'm in.
Yeah, it's kind of funny you say that, Nick, because I got like, younger relatives and cousins. And so when we were growing up, we didn't have the internet and cell phones and all that stuff. And they can't even fathom what life was like without cell phones and without the internet. Like they can't even fathom what that's like because they've never had to deal with it.
Nope. And not even conceivable. So, it is what it is. And I think it goes the other way too, where it's not even conceivable to the boomers where things are going and how quickly they're getting there. Now you find some of the even the greatest generation left over and the boomers, some of them get it. I'm not saying that they're all clueless, but I don't know, man. There's a lot of speculation out there, so I like to be conservative in a sense. I like to invest in things that have worked for 5,000 years. Yeah, we're at that point where it's like the new stuff. It's only going to be good for so long, right? But the old stuff, that stuff's probably going to last longer than anything.
Yeah, if nobody has work, how good can the new stuff be? Nobody has work at that certain point, and then got to stick to basic skills. Yes, basic labor.
Even that. I'll tell you what. If I was young, and I was like, oh, do I go to college or whatever? Like, sure, if you want to be a doctor or scientist, like, go to college, right? Mm-hmm. You just want to get like a job somewhere. But look, a college degree is going to at least open up some doors that it wouldn't otherwise open. But if you want to just make some money, then I go be a lineman. Because I tell you one thing that's going to go change, like a lineman or construction or something like that. And I'll tell you why. Because the one thing that's going to continue to expand, at least in this country, is going to be the power grid and all that, like, all that technology. Now, there might be a drop in it. We might see a depression or whatever. That stuff doesn't expand quite as quickly. But I mean, that's the future is all being wired and wireless. That's going to require a lot of power. So anything that's all about like the power system, building power stations, extending, the grid, I think that's like a good place to be. And fortunately, I have that experience. So if everything kind of fell apart, I mean, look, the markets, I think, will be the last thing to go. So, I think if the markets disappeared, we're all like living in caves, like it's how, the uber wealthy do everything through the markets, right? They need retail to continue to put money into the markets. So as long as money means anything, there will be markets, right? But if it turned out that like it turned into some manual labor scenario, yeah, man, I have plenty of construction experience, equipment. I know how to do all that shit. Yeah. So if I didn't have anything else, then that's where I would start because it pays well. And then, to get that experience, sure, you don't want to do that forever, but at least it gives you a basis for base. You give you a little bit of money, a little experience.
Yeah. Foundation.
And I do think manual labor will be the last thing to go.
Yeah.
I've done enough construction. I did construction for like 3 years. It wasn't a long time, but I was actually I was a mechanic is what I was. So I apprenticed and then I was a mechanic, it was industrial CNG compressors, compressed natural gas, like for large, fill stations and, stuff that would fill this room. When I did that for a time because, I thought that it's kind of a long story, but I thought natural gas was going to go somewhere and it may still. I mean, there's been a lot of money. I had a buddy that worked for us. So I left the insurance business because that's a dirty ass business too. Like, let's go do, I just wanted something new. And so that's what I did. Then I have that skill left. I could go tear apart a compressor and put it back together and it would work. So, but we were doing the install of that. So of course that branched out into construction. It's good experience. That's for sure.
I bet, man.
Oh man, this guy's dying.
Yeah, it's all right. I've had like 100 fever, but you know what? I did a show yesterday with, it's a really good show. I'm starting a series on my other YouTube channel and it's with a guy who's like, he's got quite a history. And that guy and we become friends through some of our political podcast friends. And we're doing a show called How the Ruling Class class understands and uses power. And so he's in Serbia. He and I are both from LA, but he's in Serbia. And that means I had to do it at like 4:30 a.m. like yesterday. And so I wake up,
Oh man.
I got 100+ fever. You know, he gets on, he's sick too. Like, he's like, yeah, well, you know what? You know, people get sick and they go do manual labor. So why can't we just do this? It ain't that hard. You know what I mean? So here I am. It's just, you get that fever and you get a little wonky, a little wacky. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, been there. No, I appreciate you coming on either way.
Yeah, man. Thanks for toughing
no
it out,
worries.
man.
You guys enjoy it. Thanks for the fun talk. And I'll be back in like 2 weeks. AJ, I know CG, I think you already have my like YouTube stuff.
Yeah, I'm subscribed.
You're subscribed. Okay. So I'm going to put a link and I'm going to throw it up in the chat here. So give you a chance to get it before we go. And if you follow this link and you just have to put your email in, it actually will send you a video. It'll send you to a video where I build an algo, a trading algo. And an algo is not like, you know, this isn't a bot trader. It's just a simple algorithm. It's just a method of trading, right? Like technically doing your straddle, technically that's an algorithm, right? You have a trade above, you have a trade below. If it hits above, you cancel below. That's an algo. It's just, these are the conditions. And if those conditions are met, then you do these things. That's an algo. Well, that's what this is. And I actually show you how to turn it into code and do all that stuff. But now I've seemed to have lost the screen where I can see you guys. Let's see here. There we are.
How many monitors are you working with?
What's that? 3 right now. I got 3 more that are not on right now.
Oh, wow.
I just have a fold out. So it's like, it's my regular monitor. And then I have 2 screens that fold out. I don't know what's up with the firework.
Yeah, no, Nick's setup is pretty sweet.
Yeah, that stuff behind me is all fake. That's just AI.
Yeah, I know that. Okay.
All right. So if you, I don't know if you guys got that.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Yeah. It's just go into that. If you put your email in, what it's going to do is the next screens, it'll be my sales page and, you know, all that stuff, but you'll see the free algo on there. And also you'll get weekly updates. So I do like a weekly video. I used to post it in like school and all that, but I actually wanted to start YouTube. Like, I don't know, it's a YouTube thing. It has to do with organically growing, rather than actually sending your video out to people. You want YouTube to figure out who wants to see it. Because if you send it out to people, they might open it and shut it right away. And it's whatever, not good for the algos. So I stopped sending it every week into the school, but it gives you a weekly market update. I cover the NASDAQ, some forex pairs, Bitcoin, gold, and silver. So that's also free. And that's every week. So anyway, just let me know what you think of that. And if you have any questions, just ping me over in either Signal or School. And we'll see you guys, you know, if you're able to make it, we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yeah, that sounds good, man. Get better, Nick.
Yeah, thanks.
See you, AJ.
Bye. Yeah.
See you guys.
Take care, guys.
Good to see you both.
I see you, brother.